Hey guys, we are taking a look at making this Tyco big hook crane look like this. Please bear with me as I move through quickly a couple of shots of preparing the shell and getting it ready for new paint. Welcome back to the Black Hills and Eastern Railroad, everybody. Today we are looking at a project started by me a very, very long time ago and has had new inspiration breathed into it by two rail fans, my buddies John and David down in Texas, and they're putting together some train set cars with Kadee couplers. They're matching up the correct height and metal wheel sets and things like that. I've been meaning to do something with this car for a very long time. This was a hand-me-down from a family member, and this was originally decorated in the red Santa Fe scheme. The rest of the car is black, as you see here in this picture. I last night stripped the body from the crane, the cab and the mechanism part. I dipped it in 91% isopropyl alcohol, and that was good enough to take the lettering off, but not the red paint. So I primered over that, and the intent here is to paint the rest of this black. The intent of this project here is to make this a BN crane car. These heavy cranes were very much going out of fashion by the early 70s when BN was formed, but BN did get a bunch of these hand-me-downs from, I believe, Great Northern, Northern Pacific, maybe less so the CB&Q. They did have a few of them in the roster, and they carried them for a while. I don't intend to make this a major part of my operation, but it would be fun to run it around maybe every 10th time or something like that. If there's a major wreck or something like that, we'll call it out. And yeah, that should be about all. So we're back in the shop with the shell for the big hook here. We've got it painted black. The paint job is far from perfect, but it's glossy enough probably to hide the decal film. What I have here is a plastic container top filled with a tiny bit of distilled water and a scrap of paper towel here to keep my decals from floating away. And I've got partial BN locomotive set here. I've got 87-549. This is, I believe these are for modern-ish Burlington Northern diesels, 1998 plus, I believe. So this will do your white face, I believe. And I'm just looking for the couple of logos here and the Burlington Northern words spelled out. And then, of course, I've got a numbers and letters sheet here, Microscale number 90101. So I'm going to begin by cutting out decals and separating into yogurt cups here based on the two sides that I need. I only need a couple of things for each side here. I'm going to take the Burlington Northern logos, and of course I'm going to separate these after I get them cut out from the sheet here. So now I have two sets of decals here, one for each side, and I think I'll just go ahead and start by dipping this whole thing onto the wet paper towel. Again, I have wet paper towel here with distilled water on it. And these decals, I've known these to get started pretty quickly. So I just noticed that my decals are sliding here at this point, so I've got a couple of soft paint brushes here, and I've got yin and yang, Microscale, Microsol, and Microset in my little Railroad Modeler proof anti-tippy container. And so I'll grab this, the decal backing, if I can. Might have been better off to get that chisel blade. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Microset, brush that on to the point where I'm going to apply that decal and grab it off of the paper. So now, at least temporarily, I've put the shell back on the hoist mechanism and put the trucks back on. And we are going to mix up a batch of Ralph Renzetti's, I wouldn't call it weathering mix, I'd call it fading mix. Here I am mixing up a batch of fade weathering material, paint, I guess if you will. I'm starting with 91% isopropyl alcohol. The higher value of isopropyl alcohol, the better results you're going to get. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 90-10 mixture. 90% isopropyl alcohol, 91% isopropyl alcohol at 90% of the mixture, and then 10% paint. This is just cheap craft paint, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, whatever. And I'll put a few drops in there. And what we're looking for is kind of a cloudy haze in here. I've got this airbrush, this, I believe this is a Badger paint mixer. I'm going to stick that in there and mix that up a bit. And it probably should, if you're doing it right, I'm guessing it's going to apply, it's going to look like, probably a little bit like skim milk. And after our next step here, you're going to really agree with that. So this mix is for black rail cars, and Ralph recommends the color wheel method to basically whatever car you're fading to put in the opposite color on the color wheel. And since black cars are black, he recommends a drop of blue in the weathering fade. So that's my drop of blue there. We're going to use this for several projects besides the big hook here. That's pretty blue, guys. That's bluer than I thought it'd be. Holy smoke. Well, we're going to put this on and see what it looks like. So here I am at the makeshift paint booth. Keep in mind, I'm painting with nothing that's oil-based here, so I don't need to worry about necessarily toxic fumes. So we're going to get started here. And I'm going to concentrate on trying to fade the top of this, because that's where the fade would be the most evident. And what we're really looking for is just knocking down that that gloss black appearance that the model has currently. What I have here now is the modified enchilada sauce. I am trying this as an experiment as well. We've got Hobbycraft burnt umber. This is basically brown paint, mixed with about half and half 91% isopropyl alcohol. We're going to put this on as just a very light weathering coat around the bottom and top to represent the dust and grime that's on this crane car. And we're going to need to move the needle forward a little bit. So I've got one more thing to do here before I put the couplers back on this big hook and release it back to service. I have a sheet of clear acrylic that a guy gave me here a long time ago, and I've only used a little tiny bit of it. And I'm going to cut clear acrylic for the windows on this thing. And I know there's other ways to do that, and there's probably better ways, but I'm just going to cut the clear acrylic just slightly bigger than the windows on the crane shell, and we're going to stick those in from the back using white glue, and we're going to have this thing back out in the rails here in no time. So here we are peeling the backing off of this acrylic glazing, and what I'm doing here is I've got these custom cut for each window section. We're just gluing it into the back side of the shell here, just to give the sort of appearance of that there actually is a pane of glass in there. And this stuff does dry clear, I believe, so we're not going to worry too much about that. And I'm not going to try and smudge that around on that front windshield there. So we'll move on to the, I guess, the left side of the body. I just finished remounting these couplers here. We're using number 5 Kadees in their default boxes. We have installed steel wheels on the trucks here. These are the factory Tyco trucks here with the Telgo coupler mounts cut off of them to support room for the Kadee number 5 couplers here in these boxes. Let's go out and take a look in this at this crane operating on the layout. I hope you've enjoyed the truly uplifting content here on this particular episode of Black Hills and Eastern Railroad. If you did, smash that like button, leave us a comment. I'm interested to hear from you guys what you're doing with cranes or any other maintenance of way equipment. Are you using them in static service on a scene, in a construction, or on a wreck? Or are you planning to make your crews drag these things around your layout in some fashion or the other? I'd like to hear about that. Leave us a comment below. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one, guys.